Ladies and gentlemen, from Ireland, would you please welcome the Magpie William
On the 4th of July, 1806, we set sail from the sweet home of Cork. We were sailing away with a cargo of bricks for the Grand City Hall in New York. 'Twas a wonderful craft, she was rigged for the aft, and oh how the wild wind drove her. She stood several masts, she had 27 masts, and I called her the Irish Rover.
We are William Pikes, the best line of rights we have seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Northern Ireland, would you please welcome Super Darryl Gurney.
Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I'm touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. Sweet Caroline, I believe they're never good.
Second half of the afternoon kicks off with, I suppose it's the Irish Derby. The Republic of Ireland best player on form, Willie O'Connor, against Northern Ireland's undoubted number one right now. And this has got to be one of the picks of the afternoon session, if not the whole day, because we have two guys who have won this year. Gurney, who has won on the European Tour this year, and someone who's gone very close to winning a World Cup. But right now, you've got to say that this event this afternoon, Chris Murphy, that it's delivered, it's been eventful, somewhat controversial at times. What we're going to get with this one?
Well, I can't wait to find out, but we do have the world number 3, Darryl Gurney, in action. A winner on the Euro Tour already this year against a man, as you rightly said, in fine form, the form of his life, the Magpie. William O'Connor, who produced some incredible displays at the World Cup of Darts not long after winning his first PDC title. Players Championship 13 at the back end of April, and in the semi-finals he beat Darryl Gurney.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, William to throw first. Game on!
I know we've said on many occasions over the last few months that the stage is quite hot, the arena's quite hot. Well, everybody knows what the weather forecast is over Central Europe this weekend. It's quite mild.
59.
Speaking to one of the backstage crew and one of the chokers on stage, she reliably informed me that it was 53 degrees on the stage when Gilding and Aspinall were going toe-to-toe. Now, I've said on social media since then that the players really do prefer to be warm than cold.
59.
But they don't like it this warm. It's pretty hard to keep your concentration. You've got to drink lots of water And you've got to maintain focus as much as you possibly can.
It's hard to keep cool, and we've seen some players not keeping their cool on the stage this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what we mean by eventful. We have seen a little bit of stuff between Danny Noppert and Darren Webster. I get the feeling there's a lot of respect between these two, but
100.
even with that said, they'll want to knock 7 bells out of each other, that's for sure.
Well, 3 meetings between the pair. Gurney won the first 2 back in 2016, and then the most recent was that semi-final of Willie's first win of a PDC tournament just a few weeks ago. Gurney will be hoping to settle that score.
97.
But O'Connor has kicked on, hasn't he, since then?
He has. It's great to see because Will's a great guy. He's really focused, and he's one of those people, when you meet him, you realise that he is giving 100% every time, and he doesn't know any other way how to do things. And Gurney on 10s for a beautiful start. 140 out and a break. And already Willie O'Connor knows that he's going to be troubled more in this match than the last one, when he played Václav Šikadefa.
95.
Tremendous tungsten at the start of this one from Daryl Gurney, living up to his seeding of 4, his world ranking of 3. We'll have to protect that somewhat of the match play next month, because he was a semi-finalist a couple of years ago.
Who's to say he can't go on and win it if he's feeling fresh enough, because it has been quite a long season for him already. If he can maintain form like this, and he can maintain the belief that he's shown through the Premier League and through a win on the European Tour early this year, there's no reason why Daryl Gurney cannot win the World Match Play. He's shown that he can mix it with MVG.
Yeah, I agree. I think you would be a fool to suggest otherwise. You don't give out those top world rankings for fun, do they? And not many players have reached that height of 3rd in the world.
That's very true.
100.
If they were giving out ranking points, I'm sure the queue would be quite long. Another one of those would be handy. Settles for the single. And a ball, he's going for it.
101.
Trying to put down a marker is Super Chin.
Yeah, looking confident, looking to stamp his authority on the match. And it's a match that, well, Willie O'Connor is in but not present. Not involved.
17.
Can he get involved? He's not on a finish, but he can try and find his range with this visit. It's been a fabulous start from Gurney and a kind of shocking one from O'Connor so far.
Yeah, he's just stood it out of the blocks a bit, and his scoring part of the game is what has been so impressive in the last couple of months. Gurney's just been too good in that department, giving himself way too many chances for Willie to cope with it. And Gurney holds comfortably. The winner of this one will take on Jermaine Watamina, who at the start of the session took out Johnny Clayton. Got to give Jermaine Watamina a lot of credit, you know, because he's been in and out of the seeds, but it hasn't bothered him. Some players have been ruffled by the fact that they've been in the seeds and out of the seeds. Well, Jermaine has just stuck to his task and taken all the chances he's got. He's becoming a bit of a European Tour stalwart. And the winner of this one is going to be up against him tomorrow afternoon. But just to go back to the temperature element as well, it's not just how hot it is on stage. You've got to manage the temperature in the practice area, which is very close to the stage. It's possibly about 30 meters away, but it's in a separate building behind the stage. So they've got to walk through a small door to a very vast covered area, which I have to say is very impressive for, you know, getting your own space. But it's very mild in there as well. And you can't have air conditioning at the darts venues because it blows the darts everywhere. So you've got to love the heat or get off the hockey.
Yeah, just one of the few times where some of the players might welcome a breeze on the stage.
60.
Do you have at some of the major tournaments, don't you, like a little kind of fan in the corner of the stage? You've seen players at the World Match Play that's coming up in particular going over to that in between every throw.
Yeah, there's an industrial sort of pipe thing that they have at the back of the stage, and it blows away from the board so it doesn't affect the darts. But if you get a bit hot, you can go towards this and it gives you a little bit of relief.
85. That will require 80.
Well, it's been easy for Gurney so far, and he's going to get a dart for a double break and a 3-leg lead.
Game shot in the third.
Oh, that looks sharp, you know. That was not an easy dart for Daryl Gurney, but he made it look easy. And he's making things look very hard for Willie O'Connor, and he looks to the heavens for inspiration. But I've got to ask you, Murph, the players who have played in the likes of Dubai, Vegas, all around the world in places like Australia, do they have an advantage playing in conditions like this, do you feel?
I think players that have played in more tournaments on the stage have an advantage because they've played in all sorts of conditions. And the top seeds, the top ranked players in the world have probably mastered many conditions of the sport. It's interesting hearing Ron Muhlenkamp speak after his match yesterday when he took on one of the Czech qualifiers, and he said it was the first time he'd ever been booed at a time in the match, but felt that that's something that he's collected. I think his way of describing it was that I've put that in my backpack now.
50.
Yeah, he's
yeah, there are different conditions, aren't there? Every stage is kind of the same setup, particularly on the European tour, but there are different crowd factors to contend with, different kind of opponents,
correct,
different paces, different styles, different temperatures.
And one thing we can't discount as well is that every time we go to Gibraltar, it's pretty mild there as well, and the guys who've done well there won't mind a bit of heat here as well. But again, he's looking so good today. He's averaging very healthily in the high 90s.
Yeah, but it's 20 points higher than this man.
140.
Wake up, Willie.
Single 18. Gets the treble, double 7.
72.
And he doesn't like that, and I don't blame him, because it was quite a way away, and maybe that's the chance that Willie needed to get in this game.
Has he weathered the storm? This would be to break back.
54.
Well, that's a measure of just what has happened to Willie's game today, because he's not usually missing that double 16, and if he does, it's usually just on the outside wire. On the outside wire it is for Gurney. But he's inside and gives another chance to the Republic of Ireland star.
William requires 16. Game shot in the full flag.
Well, he's been far worse than Daryl Gurney in his performance level in this match, but he's now in this match.
Sometimes when you put in this kind of performance, you just need something a little fortuitous to kickstart your campaign in the afternoon, and maybe that's enough just to, like you say, Chris, wake him up.
I think there is a bit of extra motivation, Paul, for these favourite players, the ones that are expected to win, to think, you know what, I'm going to have to play my best here to get off stage as quick as possible and avoid being in the heat of battle for too long.
It is a motivating factor. When you get close to that line, it motivates you to go fast and get it done. So Simon Whitlock will probably feel, well, I did things the wrong way, but the thing is he got there in the end, so he probably doesn't care.
Well, O'Connor effectively turning up the temperature gauge with the maximum. But has he undone his own hard work?
44.
Well, of the two, Gurney looks that little bit sharper on dart 1.
25.
His first dart average is around about the 32 mark, which is okay. You want that to be near a 40. 35 is where they're looking at.
92.
But his second dart, Gurney's been awesome. It is around that 35 mark. He's looking for another one. He's there for double eight. Double he loves.
120. William will require
Well, it was like putting a
85.
mirror on the first leg. Had a 140 to break. Missed the 136.
60.
O'Connor can't complete that
Darwin
combination.
requires
The
60.
somewhat lackadaisical 25 when he needed 75 there. It's almost like he knew he was going to hit it to leave the ball. Does Darrell believe he's going to hit double eight?
No score.
Well.
William will require 25.
Gift wrap chance once again has arrived for William O'Connor.
You could say it's a bit of a Christmas present. That's tricky. It's got to go high.
9 score.
Willie O'Connor's face before he threw
Darwin
those
requires
darts
16.
suggested that he didn't expect to get it. Gurney trying to manoeuvre across to make use of the marker.
Game shot in the 5th line.
Here's the line.
Gurney.
And edges closer to the finish line.
Throw first. Game on.
Just as we were saying that Willie O'Connor was getting the chance to kickstart his game, both players stutter,
60.
and O'Connor gives chances to Gurney that he shouldn't have had. Now, you've seen William play more than me this year.
122.
Can you think of many examples where he's been this far behind and been able to get back in it in a game?
I think he's very much a player that when he has been on, he's been on. And when he's been off, he's been off.
So you think he's more of a front runner? When he gets ahead, he can put his foot down, but
Well, yeah, or he's involved in a game where both players are playing
Yeah.
really well and no one really gets ahead.
yeah, I think the double statistics tell a very accurate story. No dart player in this field will be happy with any percentage in the 20s. They'll be wanting at least double that.
Well, look, you can all produce brilliant stuff from time to
46.
time, can't you? I think the players that find themselves languishing lower down the rankings are the ones that kind of have a bigger range, including a low range that can be low 80s, maybe even high 70s. But yet can on occasion find themselves in the 100 teens.
Well, we know that both of these guys have got a big average range, and they've shown many times this year that they can go really high.
But I think the top boys kind of have a 15-20 point fluctuation at most, where you can be looking at 30 to 40 for some of them. Gurney's looking at double 11.
102. William requires 79.
I think he thought that was in. It wasn't, though. This tops has got to go in. Dead-eye shot from Willie O'Connor. That's more like it. And he looked like he was going to hit that before he went for it. And if you look at the way he went for double eight before, there was a bit of doubt. Wasn't any doubt in that shot.
Well, he is trying to battle his way back, but he has had a lot of help from Gurney, whose performance level has dropped.
Well, Gurney's level has dropped, but he's starting this leg well.
Well, that's a perfect way to get it back.
Back comes O'Connor.
Anything you can do.
I wonder what the volume levels are going to be like in the next match, when
60.
Ian White takes on the home hero, the man who has his own energy drink, Karel Sedlacek. It says on the can,
35.
100% strong. I wonder how strong he's feeling today. He did look very bubbly when I was in.
Just like the drink.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
William
I was going to say he's full of
46.
beans, but I'm guessing that the drink isn't full of beans.
What a leg from O'Connor, seemingly out of a clear blue sky.
Looks mean. looks in.
Shot the 7th leg.
That's how you use a guide, ladies and gentlemen.
First, game on.
In off the post. All of a sudden,
60.
he's within touching distance, but valuably, Daryl Gurney still has a break of throw. It's been a good contest. It
60.
actually, it's a lot better than it looks.
How hard is it, Paul, to drag your performance level up when you do start a match stuttering and struggling?
It's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things to do, I'd say, because if you don't find your range early, you've got to figure out why and how to fix it, and you've got to do it quick.
Yeah, especially in these races to 6.
Yeah, you've got to do it on the fly. The hardest thing is when you can't identify what's going wrong. What do? You just have to plod on and almost hope that it clicks, and it doesn't very often. You've got to think of something in the practice room that's going right, and then take that thought on stage and run with it. That may be something as small as, how does my middle finger feel on the barrel when I'm throwing it? You try and replicate that feeling every time you throw a dart. Can't think about too much up there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. Were you a player who would try and correct things on stage, or just try and put things out of your mind and say, look, just throw?
Think about things in the practice room and do things consciously back there. Get on stage and let it flow, let it be natural. You don't want to have to think, you want to be in rhythm and you want to be in a zone. If you're thinking too much, you will be out of the zone.
Practice like it means everything, play like it means nothing.
Correct. I once said,
100.
practice like everybody's watching, but play like nobody's watching.
Well, is Daryl watching this? Because he might be about to see his lead disappear. Double 19.
80.
Well, in boxing terms, that was a low blow. This would be a possible knockout punch, but it's not there. And O'Connor now has to make the choice.
50.
Go for it or split. Surely a split.
38.
6 it will be for double 16.
Game shot,
Yep, sensible stuff.
William O'Connor.
And executed perfectly by O'Connor, who suddenly has this match in the palm of his hand, having hit back from 4-1 behind. William O'Connor now has the darts in 2 of the last 3 legs.
57.
It's a great advert for the splitting, isn't it? You know, getting rid of the doubt of hitting the single 19 on dart 2 or even dart 1. You eliminate that completely. It's the perfect example when you're in a game where you're behind by 5 on the averages, which at this point they mean very little. But when you've got 38, go for the 10 or the 6 and leave yourself a double where you cannot possibly, unless you throw a horror dart, be snookered with a dart in your hand that you can't use.
Yeah, and don't be scared. It takes away being scared of that double 19, because you very, very rarely see a player who blocks it and then decides, well, now I'll split now because I can't possibly hit that target. They'll persevere and end up missing and losing the leg.
There is a bit of method in that madness. If you, say, have 38 and you miss on the outside but it blocks the bed, I have seen a couple of times someone go for 6 and double 16 then. At least that way you're going for the open bed.
And you're still getting 2 darts at double, which you would have done if you'd have split it in the first place.
Exactly.
But it's very, very rare you see a player kind of dare to do that. If you do it straight away, you know you're getting 2 darts, one after the other.
137. There we require 161.
Well, Willie has left himself in position to take the leg, but he's going to have to
65.
max this up. Fishing rod out.
170.
Baits on the hook.
The magpie can't swoop and steal the big fish.
Daryl's not home and hosed at 96. Still got to
not.
put in an effort from there.
46.
Got to say, Murph, that 46 is bare minimum. At least it's got him under 130.
Yeah, you've just seen the Daryl Gurney confidence gauge move into the red part at the top. But he hasn't managed to clean it up, and O'Connor does get a
William
chance to dig
require
himself out of the hole that he's put
124.
himself in.
Oh, he's got the shovel in his hand. Has he got the final bit?
99.
Oh, that was close.
Down
And
to
Gurney
require 8.
may have been reaching for confidence in the previous visit, but there he was reaching for the paddles.
Down for double 2.
Inside the ninth leg.
Big dart for Daryl Gurney.
10th leg Daryl to throw first.
Did not want to be missing that on the outside. And now O'Connor returns to the position of being the outsider for the match.
However, Willie's in one of those spots, you know, that every player's been in throughout a 5-10 year career. You'll get a game where you're never in front until the final dart. And they're the ones that really sting your opponents. He is in that position
95.
now. He can still do it.
Let's not forget that Willie O'Connor still has an outside chance of making it to the match play. He now needs to reach at least the semi-finals after Keegan Brown won yesterday.
140.
So what you're saying is, someone like James Wilson, for instance, he's not just cheering on Daryl Gurney because it's a stablemate, but he wants him to knock out William O'Connor.
Well, yeah, there are 3 places that are mathematically still up for grabs. Keegan Brown holding one of them. He's in the tournament. Vincent van der Voort and James Wilson are not. But it would take a
60.
huge effort to knock those players out.
I'm not so sure that Willie is thinking about the match play. I think he's all business in this game right now.
100.
Well, it's a sign of how far he's come in the last 12 months or so that he's been in contention for that tournament going into the last event on both occasions.
Well, I'm not so
Hard to
sure.
get to the match play, isn't it?
He's played at the Grand Prix before when there were Irish qualifiers. And I think if he was to make the Grand Prix this year, that would be an even bigger achievement than previous times.
100.
Again, bare minimum. Needed 2 trebles, really, to make things easier. But it may be all over right now if Gurney gets bull. He doesn't. But he sets it up and asks O'Connor a very large question.
146.
Has he got a big answer? Not the right one. And now Daryl Gurney can finally
99.
put an end to this
Daryl
battle.
require 40.
And
Game,
Super Chin
shot,
wins
and the match.
in the Czech Republic. Daryl Gurney defeating William O'Connor by 6 legs to 4. The Magpie will not be at the match play. He heads home. And Super Chin, the world number 3, stays in the tournament. He'll face Jermaine Watermena tomorrow as he bids to double his tally of European Tour titles, having won one already this year. Next up, the last remaining Czech lord, Karel Sedlacek, takes on Ian White.
Winner Daryl Gurney. Well, fortunately for Daryl Gurney, we know exactly who he will play in the next round, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's grab a couple of words with our winner. Yes, that was a tough match, right?
Yes, no, because I was in control of the game, and then halfway through the game, I didn't fall asleep. I was trying not to, and Willie came back into the game.
Yeah, well, you're very lucky because you already know who you're going to play in Jermaine Watermena. We've seen the bracket. That would be who you play. Did you know that before you played?
No, I never looked past the opponent to play, so I have no idea. So, as I say, I only know now because you tell me.
Okay, well, there you go. So that's who you're going to play. We wish you all the best. You're a winner. You're through to the next round. Daryl Gurney, ladies and gentlemen.